children don't say, I had a hard day at school today, can I talk to you about it? They say, will you play with me? And this comes from Dr. Lawrence Cohen, who is the creator of playful parenting. What do you think about it?
You know, it's a really interesting one, and it's happened many times where, you know, a parent, a friend, or a client or someone would say, you know, my child won't speak to me, or they won't share about school, or they won't tell me about what's happening in their day. And, you know, I've tried to ask, and they've tried to ask. And the thing is, with children, it's different. It's not about the let's sit and chat or let's sit and have a conversation. Play is a very big part of a child's life, and that's how they learn, that's how they incorporate the experiences, that's also how they process things that have happened. So it's really through play that they engage with parents, that they can share with parents, and you know, that's the way they experience life.
Yeah, that's it. Play is major, and play is not work. And I also like how Maria Montessori says that play is the work of the child, and not to be mistaken here that whenever we want them to work, we need to make it into play. But actually that play is the main thing that they need in order to grow up. Like, as work is for us, play is for the child. That's why she says play is the work of the child. But it's also that play is not work. And we don't, if we have a goal in mind, the child doesn't. The child is fully in the process. And play, it's without having a goal in mind, right? Play is self-chosen. Play is self-directed. Play means freedom. And that's why emotions, and we've touched upon this before, that crying or laughing releases as much endorphins and as much emotion as crying does. Because play is what moves the emotion. Play is what helps us move through, move over.
And like you said, it's more of the process and not the outcome. And that's why when we drill our kids for questions of what did you do today, how was your day, what happened, it's, you know, it's obvious to them. The energy is this, I want to know. Whereas when it's more laid back and there is some sort of play, it builds connection. You know, it builds connection and it builds safety. And with that comes the sharing. And children really do, like we said, need play. And when they can play, and when they say, like the quote says, you know, can you play with me? It's their way of saying, can you be with me right now? You know, can you leave your phone, drop what you're doing, and give me that focus and that attention? I need you right now. And a lot of the times the parent doesn't see it like that. And when a child says, can you play with me? They are then faced with, I'm busy, I have this to do, can't you see I have this in my hand, why don't you go play alone? But that's why it's such a beautiful quote, because if you look behind it, what he's really saying is, it's not that he wants entertainment. It's not that they just want you to play. It's that they need you right now. They want that connection.
Yeah, that there's something big going on, and they need to release, and they can
and that they want to share. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's also that play is not reality. They can take a step back and enact. It's what I'm thinking of is, what do kids play? And this is universal. Kids play what is going on around them. Like when the war in Ukraine started, in the park, kids started playing war, because they need this space to download, to take out what is going on with them. And maybe they don't know what that's about, maybe, and then they play because they need to take it out of their system. So they play whatever goes on around them. That's why when we use these dolls or stuffed animals or to play, if we allow them to choose their task, or to choose the subject. So if we allow them to choose, then they choose something that bothers them, right? And the Pooh Bear will, the Winnie the Pooh will do something that happened in kindergarten. You don't need to ask them, what is it like? And what's your teacher like? You just sit down and play with them, and you will hear it in their stuffed animal.
I think when when a parent says that they can't reach their child and I recommend play, or I say play, there's always that, taken back of, but I don't have time. But, I'm so busy. And that's why I really want to mention it here, that it's 5 minutes is time. 5 minutes would do wonders. Sitting on the floor, sitting on the, getting around with your child and letting them lead 5 minutes of play is immense. And it's so beautiful, because it's one of these activities that once you start to do it, you notice immediately how the child will start to open up. And as he puts that piece of Lego together, or as he, or she plays, with her doll setup, she will start to talk. And he will start to talk. And slowly, as they, they build that safety with the parent, they will start to share more. And it becomes really a very sacred time between the parent and the child to share stories. And it becomes like a ritual, but it won't happen on the go. So, even for us parents and as adults, if you can imagine that you had a tough day and you're with a friend or your partner and you're running around, doing errands or busy around the house. And if they ask, what happened, it's very difficult to open up. You wouldn't feel inclined and feel like, okay, I really want to share right now. It's more of when the atmosphere is more relaxed and you feel safe and more grounded, and it's not so busy, and you have that person's full attention, that you would then be able to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And play is not for the child only, because I think we forget that as adults, but we also need play. We need play in our lives. And if we lose play in our lives, then there's something going on and we are not emotionally healthy, because play is something that we also need. And I would also emphasize the need for free time for children, exactly because of that. Because if we have everything planned, even if it's about play, but if it's activity or directed games, that's not enough for the child. They need free time. They need time to be creative, to unload, to talk about, to direct, they need free time, and that is sacred in childhood.
And I love how you also, talked about downloading and processing and understanding, because when we think about it, life is new for them. We've been on this, on this earth for decades. They haven't. And they need to bounce back ideas and to understand, experience, and understand why someone did something and why they felt a certain way and why things happened in a certain way or didn't happen in a certain way. And unless we have these opportunities to then download and process what happened, it would be stuck in their body.
Yeah, and if it's not play, then we are being very serious, and then we get a child who is very, who is paying so much attention at what they do and who doesn't dare, and who, but play allows them to dare and to do and to, because it's not locked down. I don't know. It's not. Yeah, it's not goal oriented again. They can do mistakes while playing. They can, and then they also build their self-esteem, and that's important.
Absolutely. It loosens up. And it reminds me also, we talked about laughter in a different episode. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you can do play and get some laughter, that's
combo.
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, it's not just for the child. Our own physiology changes when we laugh and when we play and we loosen up. And there's so many things that, arts, dance, there's so many kinds of play for adults as well.